I'm Leela Singh, your podcast host, and I'd like to welcome you to the My Brand HQ podcast, all things personal branding for career acceleration. This podcast is for talented, ambitious career professionals like you who are wanting to be perceived as a thought leader, to be top of mind to those that matter, and to make an impact and stand out, be that in your team, your organization, or your industry, and to be inspired by other successful leaders. I will be interviewing high-achieving career professionals who have carved out a successful career in their field and are open to sharing their career journey, their challenges, their learnings and insights with you, someone who is looking to establish your personal brand and accelerate your career. Through my personal branding and coaching practice, I enable career professionals primarily in the technology industry to earn more money, to increase their salary. In fact, I spoke to all of my past clients that I've worked with over several years and learned that actually overall, they've received an average of 47% increase in their package. Would that be a great place to be? They've also all achieved at least one, if not more, promotions or moved on to a higher level in their career at another organization. And they're looking to advance their career while showing up as the best version of themselves. If this sounds like you, then do reach out to me and let's have a chat. And why do I do this? Well, during my corporate career spanning 25 years, I quickly realized that hard work alone was not enough to get me to where I wanted to be and the success that I strive for. And my belief is that hard work, coupled with creating and establishing a strong personal brand, can both influence and accelerate your career and get you to where you want to be. In today's episode, I'm going to be speaking to Vittoria Millan. Vittoria is the marketing manager for a fintech company specialising in payments. Originally from Sicily, she has rapidly built her reputation in London as a problem solver for high growth startups and scale-ups in the realms of marketing and communication. Vittoria integrates the latest thinking in diversity and inclusion strategies to enable scale-ups to have the best conditions for growth. In 2019, Vittoria launched Women in Tech Global, an events series and community highlighting leading women in the tech sector and male champions in the industry. In spare moments, Vittoria provides marketing and communication support for companies that are shining a light on women and underrepresented groups in technology. As a student mentor, Vittoria works closely with hundreds of students from both London and Sicily universities, advising them on best practice for career progression and breaking into STEM fields. She particularly enjoys working with budding entrepreneurs, advising on how to incorporate D&I best practice into their business at the earliest stage. Furthermore, in 2021, Vittoria launched on her LinkedIn page a blog series to provide extra support and share her own experience and lessons learned along the way with students, graduates, or whoever intends to start a new career by creating guides and articles on how to get started in their journey. Holding an MSc in International Business and Marketing, Vittoria co-founded a blockchain-based arts authentication product, Munch Tech, in 2018. Following this, she has worked closely with several high-growth startups based in Level 39, Canary Wharf, advising them in growth and strategy. In today's episode, Vittoria shares with us what she wished she had known before embarking on her career, how developing a growth mindset has created immense opportunities for her, her vision and passion for a future free of discrimination, the benefits of nurturing a strong network of advocates and peers and sponsors, and how feeling not enough in her younger days has propelled her towards mentoring others for career progression. So let's head over and hear what Vittoria has to say. Vittoria, good morning and welcome to My Brand HQ. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. Welcome. It's great to have you here. And I'd like to dive into a first question today because I know we've got so much to cover. And that is, can you share with me what challenges you faced in your early days of your career?
I guess for me, the main problem that, the main challenge that I faced was straight out of uni. I come from, a reality where, when you study, there's no many opportunities to do internships or, to have actual work experience. But then when I did my Master of Science back in London and then I finished it, I was clueless. I tried really hard to understand, what I was good at, what my passion were, what was the industry that I wanted to get in. But then, as everything you do, when you start, you realize it doesn't always look as clear as you hope you do. And especially all the application and recruitment process is quite competitive in London. So for somebody that it didn't have so much experience on the background, it wasn't as easy as I was hoping to be. So definitely my first challenge was when I finished uni, understand where I wanted to land. So either like the job, in this case, marketing, and the industry. So, and, the industry that I definitely did consider for myself was fintech, either, fintech or finance itself or technology itself. I was just something, despite I was really good in this subject, it was an industry that I never considered to be suitable for me, because I like other things like makeup, I don't know, like, skincare. I really was passionate about the production of all of these products, especially from a company like L'Oreal or Estée Lauder. So, but on the other side, the only challenge that I faced was that I was very impatient. The other reality that I had to face was the fact that I was very impatient. I didn't give myself the time. So I landed straight away in the first opportunity that I had, which I was very thankful for. And unfortunately, the first years of my life, despite I learned so much and they gave me so many opportunities, they were not the most serene of my life, because I, when you work in fintech, and especially like a few years back, so we're talking about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, there was a completely different environment to what you find now. So I found myself to be always the only woman. And literally in my office, where there were 225 companies, I think, we were 4 women. So it was really, really challenging, find your place and, kind of find inspiration and all the things that you need when you start a career. So this is definitely the hardest bit of my first couple of years of working life. But I'm quite thankful for that, because I find out so many sides of my personality that I didn't know. And I really embraced, I think that the best thing for me out of, the bad experience that we are talking about is that I embraced those bad experience to get the best out of me, actually getting out of my comfort zone. I remember every day one of the sentences that was super important in my university, and they're always trying to tell us, which is use your growth mindset. And I knew that I had the growth mindset. So I always try to apply in all the opportunities that seems to be very demoralizing and really, really tough for somebody that just comes in a new city, that doesn't know anybody.
Okay, so tell me then, based on all of the challenges that you face and kind of, as you said, almost lacking that patience and wanting to just get moving and find a job. What did you wish you had known before you had embarked on your career that would have helped?
I definitely would have known to have had a little bit more clarity on how the recruitment process worked, which is, it was totally different to what I was expecting, but let's be honest, like I was a bit silly as well in what I was expecting. Just to say, I know that I shouldn't even say this, but like the first role that I applied for, completely not ignoring, but really truly not knowing what the role were, or what I was meant to look into. I applied for a marketing manager role, and I didn't even have like 1 month of work experience. Can you imagine? So that was very silly. And I know that this is so obvious, but I didn't use Google at that time, which I know that is like the most obvious tools that you would use to inform yourself, but I definitely didn't. And I definitely didn't have any understanding. And in this case, my university didn't really help me at that time much to understand what was the path that I need to go for. So yeah, this specifically. So it's a mix between me being impatient and understanding what the reality was.
Yeah. And tell me, because now you've obviously, created a great network around you. So how has this helped you?
That was the best thing that happened to me back in 2018. So, among all of this bad experience, some good came out of it. So I was able to lunch with one of the company that was contracting for a women in tech community. And that really gave me the opportunity to meet all the amazing people that I know today and with who I started an amazing relationship. And this is the thing that has always amazed me the most, and the thing that I wasn't expecting at first. You always imagine, people that are so powerful, so important in the industry. There's no way they are going to help you. There's no way they're going to listen to you. They are going to provide you any feedback. This was my, 20 years old mindset, and I was so thankful that I found, people that were very impactful in the industry that really took care of me, that I understood everything that I was going through. And I was able to change completely my life thanks to their suggestions, support, but especially sponsorship. I mean, sponsorship is something that is really underestimated. Every single job that I had after that, it was thanks to sponsorship. And, going back to the recruitment process, it is, it's something that I never had to go through too much. And I'm really not looking forward to go through, but at the same time, I look forward to experience, this process with a completely different mindset that I used to have years back when I finished university. So that would be very exciting, because I think that I will see things completely different that I used to do before.
So a couple of things that I'm hearing is, as you mentioned, the growth mindset, so being open to how you can adapt to make things work for you. But also, we talk about sponsorship. Can you just explain for our listeners what that means? Because some people may not have heard of it or understand how you can get a sponsor.
Yes. So on a general level, there are two things that happen. You got a mentor, and ideally you should have some sponsor as well. So mentors are normally those people that, they're not your manager. So there's no work related, somebody that you find outside your everyday, your company, the company you work for, and they actually help you grow throughout your career. But not only, because, for example, for me, my mentors, they're not only marketing people, there are also people that go and that experience diversity inclusion in the same way that I do. So it's a way to learn from people that know more than you. They are, maybe older than you as well. In my case, that happens quite often. And what happens then is that sometimes these mentors can be your sponsors. So that means that they help you finding new roles or new jobs according to what you do, or they are always happy to put a good words for you, which, is something that you think, oh, every mentor will do. No, definitely don't. I've been super lucky, because I feel I had a couple of people that really, really have invested in me, and I'm so thankful, because I used to be very shy, used to be very, I wouldn't say not really shy. Shy is not the right word, but I didn't have much self-esteem. So I used to lack quite a lot of it. So they really helped me building that up and believing in me and being more independent. And again, I'm just so thankful that I had those people, because there's no way I would have been who I am today without them. And I also want to highlight something, as we're talking about mentor and sponsor. They are not only women. And my mentor, my sponsor are not only women, they're actually men as well. And I'm so thankful to them as well, because I think one of the message came across too often is that men are against the development of women. No. There are also good men. There are, pro helping you out. as well as we need to remember that there are some women that don't want you to succeed, so they will do everything in their power to put you down. So keep quite open, an open mind about it, because it's important. We cannot stereotype anymore.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree with you there. It's so true. I think in my experience in tech, I was primarily around men, but I had a lot of what I call advocates, sponsors, supporters who have my back. And to be honest, I wouldn't say that was always the case with women. I actually noticed more.
We discussed about it before, actually, when we first met, do you remember? And that was definitely the point for me. So imagine I was in a place where I was surrounded by 225 companies, fintech companies. It was a tech hub back in Canary Wharf, and we were like 4 or 5 women there. And majority of the people were just men. So yes, of course, there were some of them that really put me down, and they did a good job trying to do that. But I also found amazing people that pushed me up, and on my personal level. And I think that was for you as well, as when we discussed it. I never felt I was out of place. I did, but on the other side, I tried to look at that as a challenge to overcome, instead of feeling guilty or feeling bad about it. I knew that I was nothing less than another man or another woman, or somebody that was much older, somebody that was much younger than me. I just wanted to learn from the best people that I could, which I did for some of them. And I, thankfully, I learned also from people that were bad, and I learned how I didn't want to be. And that was an important process of my personal growth, learning the person that I wanted to be in the future and what I wanted to stand for.
I love that. And the healthy outlook that you just described there of, it's not about anyone is better than me or lesser than me. It's that let's learn from the best people, surround yourself with the best people. As they say, you want to surround yourself with the average of the 5 people around you. So you bring out the best in you. And that's exactly what you're doing, which is fantastic. So tell me, Vittoria, what did it mean for you to win the Tech Women 100 award? And how's it impacted your life professionally, personally, if at all?
Wow. Okay. So that was totally unexpected, but very welcome experience. I've covered this topic a few times already, and on a general level, what I would say is, it was during COVID, and when we had all the nomination, the thing that happens on the background before going out in public, and I was. I really believe in you building your destiny, and things are meant to happen for a reason. It was one of the most horrible months that I had back in 2020, which I know wasn't the most serene for everybody, but I was really down. And out of one day, I had this amazing news, and I found out that these people nominated me, and I was completely shocked. I was like, how is it possible that somebody thinks that I should win this? Like, me? What are you talking about? And so I was thankful that came at that time, because that really, really gave me the boost that I needed to keep going. And out of what the awards was, I mean, Vanessa is just over the top. That's nothing to say about her and everything that they do as a company to help and support, women and, diversity and inclusion in the tech industry, and not only though. It's just amazing. I would invite everybody to support them and to follow them. And she's so inspirational. We had many sessions with her, and just everything that she says is like you're listening to her, like she's God. No, I'm joking, but she's really inspiring, and I really appreciate every single suggestion that she gave to all of us. But as a network, I guess the amazing thing that you see and you find is a group of women that truly understand the the change that you're trying to make in your society. So as we were talking before, there's no intention of being jealous or wanting to push you down, but it's just that feeling of bringing you up, and you feel this, and this is amazing. because not as you know, as we all know, that doesn't happen all the time. So having this huge group of women that are just so happy for you and lift you up, and you know, it's great networking experience where you meet you know, people that come from all over the company. So it's just great, and I find very interesting the fact that we're still in touch and we still talk, and maybe not with all of them, of course, but yeah, it's just a great networking experience and feeling. And again, depends how you do things, but for the way I lived it, I was over the moon. It was amazing.
Oh, fantastic. And congratulations, because absolutely well deserved, very much so. So tell me then, what led you to launch a female tech community, which I believe is Women in Tech Global? Is that right?
Yeah, so that was back in 2018. That's what I was mentioning before while I was contracting for Forte Markets. But Forte Markets is a RegTech company that makes training for bank, everybody literally in that kind of industry. And at that time, I'm not gonna say they was trending, but like one of the things that was definitely missing in the range of events and training that they were doing was definitely something that was more female related and women related. So I've asked if I had the opportunity to do that, which was also done because I wanted to do it like very much. So this person thankfully believed in my skills and gave me the opportunity to launch these events. At the time was also podcasts. So we actually ran a few podcasts. And that was great for me because I did all the things that I thought I was not able to do. For example, one of the thing that was more scared the most when I was in university was public speaking. And I remember when I did my second event for the Women in Tech Global series, I actually moderated. And there was somebody that used to work with me that really supported me throughout like the preparation of the speech and trying it. And I remember the first time that I tried this speech, I was so scared. I couldn't talk. And at the end of the event, so a few days after, like this person was completely amazed because I couldn't stop talking. I was just during the van. I was like, "Come on, let's like just crazy." But that was definitely one of the things that I was scared the most. More not because I was not aware. I want to make this message clear. Not because I was not aware of what my skills were or if I was capable, but I personally lived that time thinking I wasn't enough, and everything that I was, there was, you know, people in front of me that were older, more important, have more senior role, or you know, that were known. And I always felt I will never get there. I will never be that person. How can I talk to Charlotte Crosswell? For me, you know, at that time, not that I don't love her now, but at that time she was my role model for everything. I just loved her with all my heart, and I was looking at her from, you know, distance. Clearly, I was just amazed, and the fact that I had to present her. I still remember that. I even say her name completely wrong because I was so emotional at that time. But yeah, it was a great experience. And then unfortunately, through COVID and everything else, you know, things have changed. So, but you know, I look forward to keep doing more things actively, while events or, you know, networking, podcast, everything that I can really.
Yeah. Fantastic. And so tell me, you know, you're fairly early on in your career and you're mentoring others. Tell me, where has your passion and interest for encouraging more women to pursue that career in tech stemmed from? So is that from your own experiences? Tell me a bit. Yeah.
So it definitely comes from my own experience. As I was saying before, I never considered either finance, technology, or, you know, STEM careers. It was just something that I never thought that could be interesting for me, despite a school and a university. Those were the subjects where I had the best grades. So it was be interesting that I never did it. But again, I think a lot depends on the society that you live in, family that you live in, you know, the people around you, what you know about things, right? Your professors, it's a lot of things, and your And the thing that I like the most on myself about me, so that doesn't depend on anybody, is that I wasn't curious much. So I didn't investigate too much, which if I could go backwards, I would definitely change that aspect about my personality, because now I look and read a lot. So I'm really sad that I was not that kind of person before, but it's okay. I'm still early on. And
it's part of your growth, right? So you're learning your growth.
Yes.
As you progress. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. So when because I never considered jobs in tech or in, STEM jobs, etc., what we're talking about, what happened is that I was about to miss the best opportunity of my life. So, and I know why I was missing that. Now, again, yes, we were talking about part of the things, but I'm not going to list everything now. And what I'm, really trying to do is to support first more women and the younger generation not to face the same challenge that I did, because some of them were really stupid and completely unavoidable. So there was no need that I had to go through them. I don't want them to feel as scared, as lonely as I used to feel, because there's so many people out there that are happy to help you. And I also find so much inspiration from working with students. At the end of the day, I'm 27, and yes, I finished uni a couple of years ago, but it's not too long ago. And when I work with them, when I mentor them, when I do classes with them, it is really inspiring how they are, what they want to do. I find some of the people that really changed me as a person, and they are really, really motivating me to do more for students and to actually put together all my experience, all my knowledges, or the lesson learned, and create some material for them that they can use.
That's fantastic. I love what you're doing in that space. And then tell me, so on the back of it, then what can we do more of to encourage women into technology, and what advice would you give them based on your experience and what you've learned?
Yeah, so if we start from you being a student, there are so many company organizations out there, especially I feel now much more than when I finished university. So more or less each company has nowadays their Women in Tech program. So the easiest thing that you can do today, everybody has got LinkedIn, right? Just go look for the name of the group, reach out to somebody that works there, ask everything that you want to ask. People are open, people will help you. And especially I think today there is even much more than there used to be before. No need, but the feeling of wanting to help the younger generation overcome all the challenges that they are facing now, because they are much more than 5 years ago for me, but also many more than 10 years ago for you or anybody else. So and that's exciting, and that's something that students and young girls have to know. There's a community full of people happy to help you, happy to support you, happy to introduce you, and just be yourself. This is seriously the most honest suggestion that I can ever say. Be yourself, because when you believe in something, when people see the part of you that really want to make a change or that want to grow, they will do anything to help you. For me, the life motto is you can learn how to do any job, but you cannot learn how to be a person. So that means that you can learn any skill, you can learn, you can do any university, you can do any extra course to learn one specific skill that the role is asking you for. But there's no way that you can learn how to be a human with a growth mindset, with, genuine intention. And this is something that company wants, that that they need, is people that want to make a true change instead of just following the process. At least that's what I think. I'm not sure if it's true 100%. I think it is for what I find so far, but it's important to understand that we are not in in a bad position because we are people skilled, because we've got people skills instead of being fully analytical. You can learn analytical skills. You cannot learn how to help a colleague that needs help. You cannot learn how to not take the fault. I was about to say something that I shouldn't, like how you take the fault for somebody when, maybe that person, no, this is not fair either. But how to work in a team, how to be collaborative. This takes much longer to learn as a skill set than something, some analytical or, any other skill that you learn with the course.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. And I think the people side, the engagement with people, interaction, the building relationships is so important. As you rightly say, we can go and learn the technical skills, the knowledge about the company and how things operate, but actually it's really focusing on our people skills and how we're showing up and the way we are for others. If we're raising people up around us, encouraging, as well as doing the same for ourselves, and not looking to, as we mentioned earlier, bring people down or not support. And by showing up as that person, I always talk about showing up as the best version of you. And once you can do that, you will go far, because the knowledge is there. We can learn as and when.
Exactly.
But people know you for you as the individual, for your character, your personality traits, and the kindness, the sharing, the support, those attributes, and that's what people will remember. And therefore, to your point, which you've exemplified throughout, is that people will want to help you. They'll be willing to reach out and support you because you're doing that for others. What you put out is what you get back ultimately.
Well, I'm going to say this for myself, but if you think so, I'm happy. I know that I do for myself. So most of the things that I do, I generally do because I feel the need that I need to do. And that was, an aspect that I always had in my life. Even when I was younger, I used to do a lot of volunteering activities. So I wanted to be a doctor before, so I totally understand. So this is, I think, is something that is naturally my, my personality. And it's, some trait of me that I thought it was wrong. And I actually is beautiful. So I'm going to nurture it. And I really don't do anything with the thing that I do because I want somebody to, one day give me back. I really do, because if I can help one person going through what I did, I'll be the most happy person in the world. And I know that, my mentoring or support has been helping a lot of people. So that motivates me even more. Just to add something and to conclude what you said, we discussed this before, like a few weeks ago, but it's a concept that I really would like to point that out now. I'm doing all of these things because one day I hope the future generation will look at all the things that we are fighting against now as a things that are normal. My life goal is to normalize things that should be normal. I'm not going to make all the example that I did with you, but this is a message. I hope that, one day my daughter or my son, if I will have son kids in the future, won't ever have to fight against preconceptions or, the fact that they want to do a job that is not standard or stereotype for, that gender. I want my kids to, and, anybody kids to live in a society where they are accepted for who they are fully, where there's no discrimination, because you have to be you, as I'm thankful that I can be me. And so this is my goal. I'm afraid of what I can say here, but no, I'm joking. But so at a general level, I really wish to make everything that today is considered different, and they're really working hard to fight against. So it will be normal one day. So this is my goal. And there are so many, especially in the women tech world, there are so many companies that are really trying to make a change. For example, Tech Chic and Charter by PwC is one of the most amazing programs that I've ever worked with, because they are really, really changed the ratio of jobs, of all the paths that our students should have. And I'm so thankful that today something like that exists. I work together with the Tech Talent Charter. Tech Talent Charter is another organization that do so much to help women, in STEM jobs. And when I say like they help so much, they just don't talk, they do. And that's what makes a difference. There's so much talking and not enough doing. So I hope to be always in the side of, yes, I talk, I'll explain, but I also to make the change. And I'm really hard trying to create that network of people that can enable me to make that change, but because they want as well, which is not always as simple as we find to be. And to conclude fully what I was saying, I guess I hope to come out with a message today, which is to those people that say that they care about problems that really, really affect negatively our society and the world we live in, is stop say that you pretend, not stop say that you pretend, stop pretending to be somebody that you're not. It is better for you to be who you are and don't care, instead of pretending to being supportive of somebody that you don't care about. So don't do that. Seriously, don't do it. It's such a waste of time for everybody passionate like me or you that spends so much time trying to make a change.
Great statement there. And
sorry, I have to say that was like, I had deep in, like when I start talking about these topics, I really get so emotional. It's crazy, because I personally suffered so much for that. And, it's been affecting my first years of my life a lot. And it's not fair for me. It wasn't fair for me, but it's not fair for anybody, because we are trying to create a better society. And we are standing by a concept, which is be yourself fully. But don't pretend to. It's the worst, those people that will pretend to stand for things that are really important, and there are, many people fighting against. And just because they have big positions or because they come from big companies or corporates, they can believe that they can do that. No, don't do it, please. From my 27 years old, don't do it. It's my society, don't do it.
Yeah. And I was going to ask where is that coming from, but you just explained that's from your experience of what you had or went through in your early years.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just thanks to company and thanks to people that work in organization like Tech Chic or Tech Talent Charter, or I can mention many more that I've been working with in the past years that really have been lift me up. So, and these are the people that people should take inspiration from, not because I did, but because truly they are. There's no way I had somebody from those company, from Debbie to Sheridan to all the big names that we know in this industry, that have said something to make me feel less than they were. And this is beautiful. This is beautiful, because instead what we tend to see is people that are, especially when there's like different age gap, believing that because you are older, you got more experience, you feel more, and people that are younger than you should just listen to who you are and what you say, because what you say is true. Like, no. And this is what I'm really trying to do with people from university. I find that very funny, because I'm still very young, but they are a bit younger than me, and they always give for granted that whatever I say is true or is fine, is correct. And the first thing that I do with them is make sure they really feel and understand that me and them, we are the same. And I just feel that if I used to feel like that, 6-7 years ago, today I would have been even more different, maybe even better. And I'm not, because of the fact that I always felt less and that I was not enough. So I'm fight against creating this kind of feeling into the younger generation. I want them to feel, I can reach out to you, Layla, on on LinkedIn, because I know that if you don't reply to me, it's not because I'm a student, but maybe because you're busy and you will reply to me later. Same thing for me. You know how many times they're asking me, no, but like if I reach out to this person, there's no way this person is gonna reply to me, which is what happened, with what I used to think as well. And that's just not true.
Yeah. And I completely agree with you. It's something I talk about so much, is reaching out to people, and whether it's asking for help to have a conversation, if you're maybe interviewing somewhere and there's somebody, a contact of yours knows there. That's what the power of networking is. I always say one conversation can change your life. It can create.
I'm the demonstration of it. Many conversations have changed my life. Many,
exactly. You have so many examples, and I think people, what I've come across is that there's a lot of people who have a fear of doing that because they feel, well, why would that person want to speak to me or give me their time, or they don't know me, so why should they? And it's okay, because there will be people who will say no. And like you said, it could genuinely be because they're busy, they have other commitments. You just caught them at a bad time in their life. You don't know what people are going through right now. At the same time, the majority of people actually want to help. They're willing to take time out for you. So leveraging that and in the right way to reach out and ask for help, whether it's about your career or mentoring or, some guidance that you're seeking, it's so powerful. And like you're a great example of having done that and created a powerful network around you now of real advocates and supporters. And it just shows I always say, what is possible. Look at what is possible, because we can create that.
The thing is, exactly, I fully agree with what you say. And, the point is, it is a chain, right? Which we are talking about the fear and, the fear of not maybe reaching out to somebody that won't create that, networking experience. But it is on a much bigger picture, but in my opinion, because when you have the fear, it means that you are lacking in some confidence that is due to the fact that you might don't feel enough, or somebody made you feel you're not enough. There's so much that goes into psychology. I'm not going to dive into it today. But if you wouldn't have that fear, and if somebody would help you, make you feel, use that fear in a positive way instead of on a negative one, then you will reach out to people and you would have more network and you would have even more great things in your life. So imagine how, people do anyway, despite they have a negative fear. Imagine what would happen if that was a positive fear, if there was something that motivates you in such a big way to get out of your comfort zone even more.
Exactly. It's imagine the possibilities.
Yes.
What could happen.
On my side, I'm trying my best to do this, so, but it is hard. Like, I'm not going to deny it, it's really hard. I find when I have mentoring session with students, or any classes that I have with them, I spend out of 1 hour probably like 25 minutes explain that, even more. But I think that with me, because I'm also young, it gets a bit easier. Mm-hmm. And I'm really straightforward, I'm really open, so I hope that they feel that, and it seems that they do. But imagine if they would feel like that with everybody.
Yeah, exactly. So just touching on the age thing there, because you said you mentioned about you are very young into your career, you've accomplished so much and that's been recognized, which is phenomenal. How has the age gap with some of your colleagues impacted your career, if at all, in a negative or positive way?
Oh, it does every day, still today. It's quite challenging to, especially be in managerial position, when you have people that are older than you, and sometimes for me it has been double of my years, so 25 years more, 30 years more. It is interesting the path that I had to go through to gain that trust first, and in a negative situation from their side, don't use the age gap in a negative way, because I have such a super open way of managing people. I did a really, I'm thankful I did this course that my university paid for back 1.5 years ago, which is about teamwork and collaboration. And that changed my mindset fully on, on how to manage people and your team, how to manage conflict, and how to get the best out of a single person's skills to get the work done. So I'm really trying to do that, and so far it's been quite successful. But the age gap and the difference, unfortunately, is always there, and not today anymore. But I would say, let's say 1 year ago, that was used against me quite a lot, especially in sentences such as, "Oh, but I did this for 30 years. What do you know? You are not even alive," and this kind of thing. So that's not nice. Also because I don't want to get into the managerial side of things, but I'm not somebody that pretends to know everything. Instead, I'm somebody that I always get out of my comfort zone. So I always try to learn new things, and when I don't know, I ask. I'm not afraid of asking anymore. I'm very open-minded. I'm thankful for negative feedback. I just, on a general level, don't appreciate when to go against me, you have to use things like age or my gender. That is nothing compared to, my tasks or my team completely. And I hate even more when we are in a, more serious conversation with other managers where they have to mention the age difference, always thinking that means they have less experience, as professional experience, which is true, but it depends on what. And you cannot use that just out of the sake of using it, because that's not true. And I can demonstrate it, because in 1 year of one role, I might have done the things that somebody does in 5 years, because of the nature of the business, the kind of business that I work with, the fast-paced speed that these companies need to live in. So when I stand for myself, so I become arrogant, that's when the age thing normally happens.
Right.
Gets set, at least.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of takeaways, I think, that you shared here for the listeners, and some of the things I'm just wanting to summarize back is, first of all, one of the things that's definitely helped you in a huge way, and I think is important for everyone to think about, is building that circle around you, or creating that circle around you of advocates, of supporters, of that, having that network around you, finding people who share your values, your beliefs, and have that same vision for the future. The other thing is growth mindset. You've referenced that several times throughout that. Again, being open to everything, to ideas, to opportunities, to conversations, and especially conversations. Asking for help,
big time. Absolutely.
And I think what you talked about earlier with normalizing the world, so there's no discrimination. It's just we're all equal. Everyone has value to bring to the table. And this is something I talk about a lot. It's because I learned that in my own career. It's like no one is better or lesser than you. We all have value to bring, and let's embrace that, and not, as you just explained there, diminish others because of their race or their gender or their age, and make them lesser than, because that is not the case. We can all learn. You know, I'm many years older than you, but there's a lot I can learn from having this conversation with you. So it works both ways, right? And I think that that's important for people to have in their awareness. So to wrap up, Vittoria, tell me what is next for you?
Well, I don't know yet. There's so much that might coming up, you know, in my future, but I hope to keep having the opportunity to make an even more tangible difference in jobs, in lives, and again, in, you know, my bigger picture, my, you know, in my life goal, which is try to normalize a word that should not be as stereotyped as it is now, unfortunately. So I hope this is for me next, and just good health at the moment. That's what I care about.
We're all concerned about good health.
Really, I you know, I hope, especially, you know, I love the word, but it's, you know, London and Italy, which are the places that are the most dear to me, that everything go back to normal soon, and that this time of our life just go away.
So the world can be open again for us to move around, to travel.
Finally meet in person as well.
I know.
Because we've just been talking on, you know, this laptop, which I've enjoyed much, but I now look forward to see your pretty face face to face
over a lovely coffee or lunch or something. Definitely, most definitely. Vittoria, thank you so much for sharing with us today. It's been a beautiful, inspiring conversation, and it's been a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please do subscribe to the show so you don't miss any future episodes. And remember to leave a review telling us about your key learnings and what you enjoyed the most. And do share this podcast with your friends and colleagues so we can spread the word on the importance of personal branding when it comes to your career advancement. And also ensure that others can benefit from these invaluable insights from many inspirational leaders. I will be eternally grateful. And if you are looking to earn more money, to get promoted, to secure your next role and advance your career, and would like me to support you personally on that journey to get you there, then reach out to me and let's arrange a chat. Alternatively, why don't you check out my personal branding launchpad, a group training and mentoring program. Finally, if you'd like to connect with me directly, then do reach out and direct message me on LinkedIn. You can find the link as well as any other resources mentioned in the show notes. I'll see you next time.